So here we are, at last. We're going to start making the bracelet. And the first part of the bracelet we're going to make is the fastener bead end. And for that, you'll need 4 of the tiny size 11 seed beads that you'll be using for the arm of your loop in the bracelet, and your fastener bead. Now your fastener bead is supposed to be about 8 millimeters in size. If I put it next to my little fingernail, that'll give you a rough idea of the size I'm talking about. But any random bead that you find that will balance with the rest of your bracelet. So first of all, we're going to pick up 3 of the size 11 seed beads. Drop them down the needle. Then your fastener bead. Drop that down the needle. And then last of all, another size 11 seed bead. Now this is going to be our stopper bead, and that will stop the thread pulling through the beads. So at the minute, don't drop your beads all the way to the end of your thread, because that way you're likely to lose all your beads off the end. Instead, what we're going to do is to miss off the last bead we put on, the little bead on its own, and go back down through the fastener bead and all 3 little beads that make up the arm of the fastening. So turn it around, pull your thread through, and now pull your thread through. She'll come through quite easily until you have about 50 centimetres, which is about 1.5 feet, 18 inches of tail left on the end. So this is your working thread, and then the end is your tail. Here we are with the finished first pass of your fastener bead end of your bracelet. You've got the 3 arm beads, little stopper bead, stopping the thread coming through, and your fastener bead. I say first pass because eventually we'll be passing the thread backwards and forwards through this end of the bracelet 3 times. That's because this end of the bracelet, as well as the loop end of the bracelet, are the part of the bracelet that take up the most wear and tear. So we have to make sure that they're both very strong. So next, I'm going to make the first loop of the bracelet. This isn't the repeating loop, this is just the first loop. And what we're going to do is we're going to put onto our needle 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, of the size 8 seed beads that are going to become the spine of the bracelet. The spine travels all the way through the bracelet, if you'll remember. So let them drop off your needle, then pick up the first arm of the loop, pick up 1, 2, 3 of the size 11 seed beads. Let them drop off your needle. An accent bead or highlight bead, and we're using 4mm beads for that. Let that drop off your needle. And then 3 more of the little size 11 seed beads for the second arm of your loop. So here we go. Spread that out so you can see more clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3 for the first arm, highlight bead, and 1, 2, 3 for the second arm. These seed beads are not very consistently sized. That's very common with seed beads. Now, ideally, we would have put this bead, I don't know how much, you can see it's quite a bit thinner than the other beads. Ideally, we would put that bead to one side because it's so different to the others, and keep it away from a pile of working beads. But not having the inclination to unthread and rethread my needle, I think I shall persevere at this moment. And what we've got to do is move those beads down to the fastening bead part of the bracelet that we've just made. Then where the tail comes out of the arm, we put our needle through all those seed beads, the 3 seed beads, size 11s, and your fastener bead. Pull your thread through. And you can see the loop already. And then we're going to go through the stopper bead again. Pull the thread through. Don't pull it too hard at this point because you'll start to lose your tail. So you might want to keep hold of your tail. And then back down through all the beads on the fastening end again. Again, the little stopper bead to stop the thread. Again, keeping hold of your tail so it doesn't get tangled. The next thing you need to do is go through all 7 of the seed beads. You don't need to go all the way through all of them all at once. could, like I have here, go through as many as you can and then through the rest. This is something to watch out for because you've got a long piece of thread, a little dangly loop here. It's quite easy to catch the thread around the bead. So try and keep hold of that bead, keep it out of the way, along with your thread. And there you have it, the fastener bead and the first loop of your spiral rope bracelet. In the next video, I'll be showing you how to make the repeating pattern. And the repeating pattern, as you might imagine, is the pattern you repeat over and over again throughout the bracelet.